Alright, brief introduction before I start this off. Obviously I'm halfway through the video here, but I went over way too long, so I'm going to have to go back and edit, so you're going to see some cut scenes and whatnot in this video. I apologize for that, but I just couldn't get everything that I wanted in that 10-minute window, so I apologize for that right off the bat. Alright, you guys are in for a real treat, because I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite tobaccos, one of my go-to tobaccos. But before I do so, I want to briefly go over flake tobaccos. So if you're familiar with flakes, this may be a little boring, just skip on a bit. But I felt like I need to make a brief introduction to them so that if you go out and try this particular tobacco, which I do highly recommend, you know a little bit about flakes. So, you know, to maximize your pleasure of smoking this particular tobacco. So, we'll go through this quickly. This is a great example of a flake. Now, this comes in a tin, but I have 3 young children who as soon as they see a tobacco tin pop open, they run for it. So all of my tobaccos instantly go into mason jars, and then because they're not as interesting, and then tobacco tins are stacked in with the Barbies and the baby dolls and that sort of thing, you know, where they keep their jewelry and that sort of thing. So anyway, moving on. This is Solani's Yellow Label. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. People refer to it as Yellow Label. They also refer to it as 633. I refer to it as 633 most of the time. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. This is a Virginia Perique blend. Virginia Perique is an excellent introduction to natural tobaccos. If you smoke aromatics primarily, Virginia Perique is a good introduction into natural tobaccos. There's not a lot of casting on it or flavoring, you know, it's just basically the tobacco. And this is a good example of a flake. This is just the Virginia and the Perique pressed together, machine pressed together into these cakes, basically. And so this is a great example of a flake. Another example of a flake, a different cut. This is Wessex Sovereign. Another Virginia Perique blend, another great Virginia Perique blend. I would definitely rank in my top 5. And this is an example of curly cut. And you'll notice these are like little medallions, small medallions about the size of a dime. Also a flake cut, pressed like that, and then sliced up. And so that's how they package that. Okay, so here's the superstar of tonight. It's Peter Stokkebye's Luxury Bullseye Flake. Now this stuff is one of my go-tos right here. And let me show you this stuff. It's a little unique. This is pressed into a flake, but you'll notice that it's you'll notice right off the bat why they call it bullseye. It's pressed into a spiral, just like we saw with the Sovereign. And then sliced into discs. But these discs, Virginia Perique on the outside, that smooth, sweet, smooth taste. Not very sweet, natural tobacco taste, smooth. And then right in the center, you'll see a core. That's Cavendish. Okay, so that stuff is very sweet. It's prepped a different way, and it's a very sweet smoking tobacco. That's the basis for most of your aromatics right there, is that Cavendish. This has a very dynamic characteristic to it in that you're smoking a Virginia Perique blend, and then occasionally you'll get this pop. Okay, so we're gonna of sweetness. So we're gonna move on just a little bit. But flakes, since they're machine pressed, they're concentrated. You know, they got a lot of flavor in there and a lot of nicotine too. So what you're not going to want to do is get a pipe with a big bowl and stuff it full of flake to the rim, man. It's going to bring you down. You can't do that. You're going to get a nicotine sickness, you know, it's going to be real rough on you. It's going to hurt pretty bad. So the ideal flake pipe is a smaller bowl, smaller diameter bowl, and you know, not shallow but not too deep, you know, because you're going to want to smoke it. You're not going to want to smoke as much of it at the same time because it's pressed together, so you get a whole lot in there at one time. You know, and no matter what your packing method is, unless you're pressing it in with a machine, you're not going to get a pack like you would with a flake. So a lot of people, what they do is they rub the flake out You know, and I can show you that real quick. Let me just get some of this. Okay, so here's some of that Solani 633, and they'll take the flake. You just crumble it up, and then you can rub it in your hands just like that, and then you'll break it out, and it looks just like Ready Rub at that point. Look, I mean, it's all broken up now, and it's ready to go. And then you can pack it in like regular tobacco if you want to do that. But that's not my suggestion for Peter Stokerby's luxury Bullseye Flake. So let's look at some flake pipes real quickly. This is a good example. This is a Larson. It's a very small pipe. This is a very small bowl. I don't know if you can see that. It's about the diameter of a dime, something like that. It's not very deep, probably about an inch and maybe an inch and a half deep. So pretty deep, I guess. But it's a small bowl, perfect for flakes. This little tiny pipe. Just in comparison, this is like a basket pipe. The very first pipe I actually bought, actually. So just in comparison, look at the size of those bowls. The difference in those bowls, man. This one is way bigger, about the same depth, you know. But this one is a much wider bowl, much bigger bowl. You'd kill yourself if you were smoking flakes in that. This is a Boswell right here. You can see the difference there. This one is bigger in diameter, not by much, you know, 10% bigger, deeper, much deeper. Look at that, much deeper bowl. This one also, you know, I'd kill you if you tried to smoke your flakes in that. And then this is another, man. This is a great pipe. I love this pipe. This pipe. It's a Graco. It's a French pipe, leather coated, briar on the inside, and then meerschaum, just the bottom of the barrel pressed meerschaum right here. I mean, this is a cheap pipe, but smokes like a dream. I cannot stress how awesome this pipe is. It's got a small bowl. It's very shallow. You know, perfect for flakes. Great for flakes. These small pipes work wonderfully for flakes. So we're out of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack this Stokerby and this Bullseye. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to take one of them, and all I'm going to do is, you got to be careful because that Cavendish in the center is going to break up. It's brittle, but the outside is not. The outside's all right. It's moist. It's moist. It's good. So you're going to break that up a little bit, all right? And you're going to wad that up into a ball, and then I'm going to stuff that right down in there. And be creative on where you put that Cavendish, because it's going to come back to get you. You're going to put that down in there. You pack that in a little lightly. And this is not a standard packing method, but this is how I do Bullseye, and I mean, it really pays off. Again, break it off. Just put it in there. Kind of hide it from yourself on where that Cavendish is going to go. Yeah. Pack that up just like that, real nicely. And I could probably get one more in there, at least half of one, but I'm just going to go with 2 tonight. 2 will last you a little while. Like I said, those flakes will. This is real light packing too. I'm not pressing that down very hard. I just get that surface flat. But now this is going to be a pleasure, and let me tell you why. What's going to happen here is you're going to be smoking that Virginia Perique. Okay, so you're going to get that smooth, sweet, nice finish. Okay, on the Virginia Perique, but then occasionally the flame is going to lick that Cavendish, and you're going to get a punch of cobbler flavor right there in your mouth. You know, it's just, I mean, it's a strong sweet. It comes on quick. So you're smoking that Virginia Perique. You got that smooth natural tobacco, and then bam, you got some cream right there. And it persists for about 15 minutes, and then it'll fade away. And then you'll just wait, and then it'll sneak back up on you again. You know, and you know, you're just enjoying your Virginia Perique, and then pow, here comes some sweetness. So that, if you haven't tried this, it is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend that you try some Peter Stokerby's luxury Bullseye Flake. And you know, give it a shot. Don't rub it out completely. You know, try it. Try it with the packing method that I presented here, and see what you think. I really think you're going to like it. So, with that said, I'm going to light this thing up, and I'm really going to enjoy it. So I hope that you do the same sometime in the near future. God bless you, and I hope you have a great day.